Alright everyone, so this is a basic guide to good German reenacting. Now let's get started with this right away here. Number one, learning your unit. What issued gear was common with your unit? It's going to depend on what type of unit you are. Pioneer, infantry, Gebirgsjägers, Fallschirmjägers, Luftwaffe ground units, etc. Depends on what unit, what branch you were with. They had varying gear. Look into that and look into that first. Get with the unit that you want to join and look into that first. You don't want to go out and buy a bunch of stuff and have it all wrong. And you're going to look kind of foolish on the field and you're going to look kind of farby. So another good thing to look at is where your unit was at during the war. Its history and what battles it participated in, as well as the years it was active. Not only will this aid you in making a good impression, it's also going to aid you in when you're interacting with the public. You're going to look good, you're going to sound good, and you're really going to look like you've done your research, which you should anyways. But you're going to really make a good impression, and you'll be able to educate the public at events, and it has a little bit of interest in the hobby more than just shooting blanks off and playing dress up for 2 days on a weekend. Number two, avoid politics, period or modern. Just don't do it. Period. Just do not bother with that. Stay out of it. Don't get engaged with the public on politics. You're asking for trouble. Especially with the current political field and you're walking around wearing a German uniform, you are asking for trouble if you start discussing politics. The only time politics should be discussed is when it's for educational purposes only. And that's bottom line. Keep the politics at home. Number three, learn the proper gear. A lot of units have a gear list of what's acceptable and what's not. Don't show up wearing East German tunics that you try to convert to look World War II. Everyone's going to spot that from 4 miles away. Learn what vendors are good and what are bad, and learn what your unit in particular is requiring of you. Get that list, ask someone, and do it right. Because if you show up wearing stuff that's not even correct, people are gonna spot you from far out, and it's just not. This is the point of the hobby, to look close enough. You should look as good as you can. Think of that one. So number four, avoid blatant FARB activity. One of the points I put on here is PPS43s. I am sick and tired of seeing Germans running around with PPS43 pistols. First of all, they're showing up to like D-Day, Ohio with them. Okay, what in the world is a PPS43 doing at Omaha Beach? I don't know. They're everywhere. Germans have been using them a lot. I understand they're cheap, they're cool. It's kind of a neat way to get a submachine gun. Stick with your basic rifle, dude. Um, Unless you progress further and you can get like a blank fire only, or if you got enough cash to throw around to bring out a class 3, do it right when it comes to submachine guns. Just stop the PPS 43s. Not speaking German when close to the crowd. This is another huge pet peeve of mine, and I see it in videos quite often. If you are unable to speak basic German commands or battle chatter, do not speak when you're near the crowd. Just be silent. It kind of ruins the immersion, I think. It ruins the point. And when you got Germans running around sounding like John Wayne, it just looks stupid. Sorry to say, it just looks dumb. Incorrect equipment is another thing. Again, it kind of goes back to the Russian weapons. If you're running around with a DP-28 in Normandy, you're doing it wrong. If you're showing up, with Civil War tents, you're doing it wrong. Have the proper stuff. And your behavior on the field. The Germans behaved in a very particular way. There's a lot of good resources out there you can look into on how they behaved in camp, on the field. Look into that. It really adds to your impression. You may not think so. You may think that the uniform, weapons, and equipment do it. But when people behave correctly, it looks great. And your unit's going to look great too. Number five, practice the tactics and learn them. Battle tactics. Germans fought in a very specific way. Learn that. Look into it. Read books, read content, read guides. Look into how they maneuvered on the field. It wasn't just a mass cluster of people running forward and shooting. They practiced tactics. This was a trained professional military. Movement tactics, moving from cover to cover, carrying the weapon. Germans always carried their weapon in their right hand down at their side. When acceptable, there are some exceptions, and I even practice some exceptions from time to time. Most of the time when you're on a move, you're going to see that. Even carrying your weapon on a standard patrol or just walking around. Look into that. It really adds to your impression. Your squad formations. Most of these battles are what, 44 to 45? I'm sorry to say to the units that do this, but you're walking in these four deep columns in Normandy, France. You're doing it wrong. All right. Allies had the air power. You're going to be walking around with flags on your jeeps, walking in columns. You are a huge target, and you're just asking to get strafed. They did not do it. I'm sorry. It looks cool, looks great for the crowd, but it's not accurate. So go based on the time frame and maybe based on the location. If you're doing something that's more of a at-home front of the German military, I can understand the column formations. But if you're Normandy, France, post D-Day, even pre-D-Day, and you're marching around in formation, you would have gotten shot up in it. They didn't practice it. They practiced different formations on that. Another big thing is hand signals. Germans were big into hand signals. There's a lot of guides out there, a lot of manuals. A great site to read up on a lot of this stuff is German manuals. I believe it's .com. Look it up on Google. German translated manuals. There's a lot of great stuff on there. It's all over their manuals and instruction, and it's all translated. And one of those books has the hand signals, and it works out fantastic. So this is just a basic kickstart guide just to kind of get you out the door. It's just some food for thought on what to look into, how to do it right, and how to look good in the process. Good luck, and hope to see you out on the field. If you ever have any questions, feel free to ask. And I have some friends. If I can't answer it, I got some friends that can help you out a lot better than I can. And I'm just trying to put something out there to make it look good and to do it right, basically. So thanks for watching.